best job that I can and just be myself as I've been over the course of my career, and just hope to take this broadcasting arm at FAMU to the next level.
There was something that you told me when we had a conversation, like within the build-up, that the alumni base, which is spread out all over the country, because I know some orange and green up here in the Chicagoland area, or actually Three Oaks, Michigan, where I am this afternoon. There is some orange and green up this way that can't wait to get back in season. So the Alumni Association is going to be your biggest hit to spread out and spread the love of Rattler Nation all over it. You recognize that immediately. And there was another conversation that you and I had, aside of what your dream position would be. You know, Joshua has said to me many times, folks, that one of these days my dreams will come true and the Lord will answer my prayer. He has done that. Josh has hit the ground running. And I'll tell you what, man, 2 years ago when I was doing a demo for you, I told you I'd be by your side when all this happened. I will stand true to those words until God calls me home.
I appreciate that, man. You definitely have been one of the driving forces in my career as a broadcaster, one of my closest friends. And, we definitely bounce off different broadcast ideas. We've helped each other do the setup for our broadcasts. And I tell you, it is definitely an honor to have you not only as my friend, but as my brother. You're definitely a family member, man. And I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, man. It has definitely been an honor to be in your presence. You're a pro's pro, and I know for a fact that you're going to be you're already large up there in the Midwest, and I know that it's going to go nationally with you, man. I'm just glad to be your friend, and definitely enjoy this ride together, my friend.
Hey, the ride's just think about it. The ride's just getting started. Let me remind the folks of a conversation that Josh and I had a month ago, almost to the day, when we spoke about how big the broadcasting scene would be for the HBCUs if they took the bull by the horns. And you remember this conversation, JJ, almost a month to the day. Here's the first part of it. JJ, you still with me?
I'm still here.
Okay. All right, we'll try it from here. Here we go.
I got you.
Here we go.
I got
3, 2, 1. Let me remind the folks of a conversation that JJ and I had almost a month ago to the day, when JJ quickly jumped on with me here on the Afternoon Locker Room and talked about how big a broadcasting situation would be for the HBCUs. We already see the setup with North Carolina Central with a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Chris Hooks, and how he's taking control of that. Almost a month to the day, Joshua Jackson gets his seat, and do you remember that conversation we had on the air about how big it would be for this to happen for the HBCUs? Here's a big part of it right now.
I tell you, man, it's amazing. I remember that conversation as if it was just yesterday. I was actually exercising, running the bridges in downtown Jacksonville, and we had this conversation. And I tell you, it is amazing to be in the same conference as our good friend Chris Hooks there at North Carolina Central and me at FAMU. We've definitely sent some messages back and forth saying, we're going to be competing with each other to try and see who's got the best broadcast. And definitely my goal there at FAMU is to make FAMU's radio broadcast of our athletics, whether it's football or basketball or whatever sport that we have, not only the best in the MEAC. I think that's too easy to set that goal. I want it to be the best across the country, no matter what division. I want fans to get excited about listening to games on the radio. I want to get back to the point where it's old school, where you're looking at the game on TV or you're muting it, and you'd much rather listen to the game on the radio, because that's what it is that I do with the teams that I support, whether it's FAMU.
How many times have we talked about that? Muting the television and then turning up the sound on your radio. You being a Florida State fan, I don't need to mention the name I'm going to mention, which is Gene Deckeroff, being in your ears every Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I still do that to this day. And watching a Florida State game on TV, muting the broadcast and listening to the game on the radio or through my computer with the Seminole IMG Sports Network, and even with the late Larry Munson, I did the same thing with him for University of Georgia.
For Georgia,
just to hear those iconic voices, call those games, and of course Brian Sexton, who was the former play-by-play guy with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now Frank Frangie in that spot there in Jacksonville. There's something special that you always have, the connection with the guy on the radio who's painting that picture for you when you cannot be there.
Right.
Listening to what goes on, listening to the different formations, the atmosphere around the game, that sort of thing. It's always something special with that connection that you have with the Ernie Harwells going to baseball, and the late Pete Van Wieren and the late Skip Carey with the Atlanta Braves, and all those great iconic voices on the radio.
And one that we share,
to those things.
And one that we share in common in listening to old clips of Jim Durham, the former voice of the Bulls.
You're absolutely right. Your late friend up there in Chicago. There's always something very special, the connection that you have with the fan and the guy on the radio, connecting those you to the action when you cannot be there. It's just always something special, and I want to be able to relate that to our supporters there at Florida A&M.
Well, I will tell you, Larry Munson, looking down from above, along with Pete Van Wieren, Skip Carey, they all got their hand on you, brother. This is your time. And I this is one of the first things I told him when he gave me the word Saturday. This is your stage, my man. This is your stage. This is something you have been praying for 4 years. And now the spotlight is finally yours. And I know it's going to be off the charts from you when you're in Jackson, Mississippi. Let's go a week ahead when you're at Sun Life Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, watching the Rattlers take on, I don't know, the Miami Hurricanes, perhaps?
Yeah, some school down there in South Florida with similar colors to ours. Yeah, I think I'm going to be ready for that, but it's going to be fun. Just the entire schedule that FAMU has, all the great MEAC spots that we'll be going to Washington, D.C. to go play Howard up there in D.C., going to Greensboro, North Carolina to play North Carolina Central.
My former home.
I'm sorry, North Carolina A&T, excuse me, there. And my first trip going up to Delaware. I've never been to Delaware a day in my life, and the opportunity to go to Dover to go play Delaware State, and of course the big game at the end of the year on November 22nd between FAMU and Bethune-Cookman in the remodeled Citrus Bowl in Orlando. I'm excited for the entire slate. I'm looking forward to going to these different places. I'm looking forward to strapping on that headset and being the voice of the Rattlers, and I just hope that, again, I don't let any of my predecessors down. Keith Miles, my mentor, and of course the great Chico Renfro there for FAMU. I just hope that I don't let those people down, and I hope I don't let Rattler Nation or my family down. I just want to be able to do the best job that I possibly can. And it's crazy. It all of a sudden hit me just realizing who my boss is. My boss is an NFL Hall of Famer, Kellen Winslow. Absolutely crazy to think that my boss now is an NFL Hall of Famer, and to attach myself to his hip and learn as much as I can from him and all the knowledge that he has. It's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Well, when you hit the ground running, when you got the call, I want you to complete this sentence for me. The first thing that ran through my head was, oh my goodness, God does answer prayer. That was really the first thing, and really the only thing that ran through my mind was when I got the call to come and meet everyone there at FAMU this past Saturday, or reacquaint myself with everyone there at FAMU this past Saturday, and solidify everything and do my first voice spot for the Rattler Football Network is definitely something that I have prayed for, and it just shows that God really does answer those prayers, and you really do reap what it is that you sow. If you sow good fruit, you'll reap the benefits of it, and I feel like I've done a great job with my career so far there at Edward Waters, and it was just really time to take my career up to the next level and step up to that NCAA
level, and it's just a blessing to finally get there.
And finally, you know, I'll be one of the first ones tuning in on the 30th, right? You do know this.
Trust me, I know we'll definitely be. I'm going to need your help with putting together this broadcast, and
not a
really
problem.
just want to do the best job that I can, and I'm going to be counting on all of my mentors, you and Mark Little and Joby Smith in New York, and Chris Hooks, and all of you guys.
Yes.
To kind of help out, and I'm looking forward. I'm bouncing ideas off of you and just trying to make this broadcast the best that it can possibly be. It truly is a team effort. It's not just me. It really is a team effort.
Well, let me tell you, folks, let me tell you something, and I'm going to have Joshua tell you this. When he and I talked on Saturday about everything that's going on, there was a promise that Joshua made to me when basketball rolls around, if something should come up. I'm going to let Joshua tell you what he told me on our phone conversation.
Absolutely. I said if Florida A&M decides to broadcast basketball games, this would be the first really foray into broadcasting every game. And I said if they allow me to run the broadcast the way that I want to run it and allow me to pick a color guy, there's only one person I could think that could do that and fill that role adequately and be by my side, and that is the man I'm talking to right now, Brian Snow. The knowledge that he has, the excitement that he has, that's something we definitely want on my broadcast. And if they allow me to do it, I couldn't think of anybody better to have by my side than you, my friend.
I'm honored. It is an honor to share this ride with you from afar or from sharing a mic together. It's my honor, sir. It is absolutely my honor. And I couldn't think of a better person who is more deserving than to take a hold in the MEAC at his alma mater, at Florida A&M. And King Rattler, go get it done, my friend.
I certainly will try to do the best I can, man. Thanks so much for all of the support, and definitely look forward to enjoying this ride with you and everyone, and just looking to take this thing to the next level. Thanks so much, my friend.
And we will, folks, I want y'all to support JJ in his foray to Florida A&M. It's something he's been praying for. We're going to be there for him. The broadcasting fraternity and sorority will be there for him as well. Let me pause for a break, and when we come back, I'll have Mike Green on the line inside the green room as we talk a little Notre Dame. Oh, boy, in 2 minutes.
Have you heard the good news about a company that started 4 years ago and worked at a relentless pace based entirely upon one simple premise? Have you heard the good news about a place you can go to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved? Have you heard the good news that you yourself can share stories about this same theme to others in your community? That place is LaPorteCountyLife.com. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can celebrate a company that had a crazy dream based on a belief that positive breeds positive, and that people want to read, hear, and watch stuff about good people. At LaPorteCountyLife.com, you can go to a place to enjoy positive, community-oriented information about the town, city, or region that you live in and the people involved. Want to see more? Want to read more? Want to hear more? Then go to LaPorteCountyLife.com. Have you heard the good news? Get your best price on Ford trucks, Focus, F-150, Explorer, Escape, and Lincoln MKS, MKT, MKX, MKZ, as well as Fiesta, Fusion, Taurus, Mustang, Navigator, and all other new Ford Lincoln vehicles at the all-new Sowers Ford in Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. We offer new and used Ford Lincoln vehicles, parts, service, and used cars. If you are in Northwest Indiana or near Michigan City, LaPorte, Hobart, Burns Harbor, Valparaiso, Chesterton, South Bend, or Portage, there is no comparison to the other dealers around town. We are about to earn your business with top quality service and the most competitive pricing in Indiana. Stop by today at 3930 Franklin Street in Michigan City or give us a call at 219-879-5381. That's 219-879-5381. Or visit us online at www.sowersauto.com. Sowers Ford Lincoln, Northwest Indiana's newest Ford Lincoln dealer. At U.S. Tire and Automotive, you'll find passenger tires, performance tires, truck and SUV tires, and more from proven brands including Bridgestone, Firestone, and other leading industry names. conveniently located in Gary, Indiana, and providing great service to customers in Gary, Griffith, Hammond, Munster, and Highland, Indiana, U.S. Tire and Automotive offers brake service, alignments, oil changes, shocks and struts, tune-ups, and other valuable services to get your car, truck, minivan, or SUV back on the road. Give us a call at 219-884-4600 or drop us an email at info@ustire-auto.com. Mention this ad and receive a 10% discount on auto work or ask about our tire specials. U.S. Tire and Auto, servicing Gary, Indiana and Northwest Indiana since 1991.
Hey, I'm Charles Tillman, cornerback for your Chicago Bears. I've tackled a lot in my life, but nothing more difficult than waiting for my daughter to receive a life-saving heart transplant. Thanks to the selfless gift of another human being, my wife and I get to hold our daughter each and every day. You too can help give someone a second chance at life. As a registered organ donor, you can help save the lives of more than 25 people. Be a team player. Register to be an organ and tissue donor at donatelifeillinois.org.
Now what's that? I say now what's that boy up to? Better check on it.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and Is the lady of the house in?
What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
Hi! Afternoon Locker Room in somewhat express format, coming to you live from Three Oaks, Michigan. We're sorry about the first part of the show. Something kind of went wrong, and we couldn't bring you the first part of the show, and I apologize for that. But we roll on. We roll on here from Three Oaks. Top of the next hour, All NBA with Flapashango. Oh, Lordy. I will tell y'all right now, she's going to have me laughing my tail off for the full hour that she's going to be with me. And yes, a full hour that she's going to be with me. Oh, boy. A full hour of fun stuff. When I say a full, all I have to tell you guys is to be ready. And that's all I'm going to say. Period. Speaking of being ready, let's go inside the green room with Mike Green. And Mike Green's on the hotline with me now. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Folks, Mike Green's hopping mad. And I'm going to give him the floor right now as to tell you why. I teased about it before the break. But he waited a bit before he weighed in on this Notre Dame stuff. Mike, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's quite the scandal going on there. And it appears all 4 players will be suspended for the season.
Oh, it's for the season now.
Yes, go ahead.
Ooh. Okay. Take it.
Well, Notre Dame did their own internal investigation. This way it keeps the NCAA out of it to look further into the program. You got to wonder how long this has been going on.
Yeah.
This is the second or third such incident under the Brian Kelly regime. And you got to wonder how far this goes back. And since these players were part of the 2012 team, they're going to have to vacate all those victories from that national championship season.
Ouch.
You know, they're going to lose. They're losing their top defensive cornerback. They're losing their best wide receiver, and they're losing a starting defensive end for the season. And with that schedule they got, it's a pretty big loss.
Yeah. Why does this go on in college football, Mike? What is this?
There's a lot of various factors. The pressure to win. I mean, let's face it. You got all these high school kids now. they're being recruited by 30, 40, 50 schools, and they feel entitled and they want to know what these universities are going to do for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if Notre Dame wants to get back to being a championship caliber program, they have to get in on this.
Yeah.
And the problem is, though, Notre Dame, unlike other universities, especially one in the town that I live in, they hold it. Their academic standards still very high, even for the football players. And at Notre Dame, if you don't follow the academic standards, you will be booted quickly. Unlike, say, for instance, the program, the city I live in, where it's a football factory first and everything else is second.
Mm-hmm.
And with losing these 3 starters, obviously it's going to have a terrible impact on this season, but at Notre Dame, academics are as important as winning football games, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is. And
like I say, you either love or hate Notre Dame, but you got to admit one thing: they do take care of their own business.
Is that one of the reasons you think they'll never join a conference, football-wise?
Well, they got their own television deal with NBC. That's a big reason why they won't join the conference. They'd have to share the revenue if they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're partly in a football conference now by playing an ACC schedule, even though they're not actually in the conference. They're going to be playing ACC schools like Florida State this year and Syracuse and North Carolina, but they will never join a conference because of the NBC television contract. They would have to share that revenue, and they're not going to do that.
And that's a contract that's been in place, I want to say, since like 1990?
Yeah, I remember the very first year that started. It was the year after they lost to Colorado in the Orange Bowl.
Yes.
And it's been in place ever since, and they're just not going to give up that. They're just not going to share that revenue with anybody else.
And it keeps them relevant in the college football conversation, good or bad, with that television deal that they have.
Well, absolutely. And even though the last decade and a half hasn't been the best of times for Notre Dame, they are still in the news, whether it's good or bad. And right now, it's mostly bad because I thought they were going to be a contender this year for the 14th playoff.
Yeah.
Even with that schedule they got, which is brutal.
It is.
But when you lose 3 starters, though, they just took a big hit. Now they haven't been officially suspended for the season yet, but all signs are pointing that's going to be announced this week that they will be suspended for the season because they did not turn in their own homework.
Pressure to win, like you said, and it's rearing its ugly face yet again. And they're not the first school to go through this. But there was a comment that you made on Facebook, and I want you to expound on this because it's so very true. And the kids that are being heavily recruited by these schools need to hear it. There was a comment you said about, I want to say something to the tune about the pressures to win cost you in other ways. There was something you said along those lines after this came down from Notre Dame.
Well, big-time college football, let's face it, it's a business because, you can watch 20 to 30 games every Saturday. Every television network has college football now. And you look at the programs like Alabama, FSU, USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan. The pressure to win at every Division I school is immense.
Yeah.
And you got these high school kids now coming out in their senior years. They feel entitled. They want to know what's going to be done for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what separates a lot of these schools. Now, you can't tell me that Alabama and FSU and schools like that aren't cheating. We all know they're cheating. You can't win if you don't cheat. You can't. And that's just a fact. And that's where Notre Dame is behind the 8 ball. When they do something like that, the school usually cracks down very hard on its own players, and I applaud them for it, to be honest with you.
I'm glad they do also. They need to. They need to. It can't be – you can't live on privilege alone at one of these big schools. You got to pay your bills. You got to do your homework, and I mean that in a very literal sense right now, considering what's going on at Notre Dame. Meanwhile, schools like, I don't know, Boise State or TCU that are outside, I'm still using the BCS model right now before we go into the 14 playoff, that are still on the outside looking in and can't get into the big payoffs, that actually, take care of business inside and outside the classroom, that actually, look and see what they can do for their students outside of athletics. They don't even get a sniff of what's going on up top.
No, exactly. And the thing about what's been going on under the Brian Kelly regime since he started, he is recruiting better players, better athletes. Notre Dame has been steadily getting better on the field the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start recruiting some of these risky kids, now let's face it, Notre Dame is not for everybody.
Right.
And you're recruiting some kids that probably can't handle that classwork there. It is a different environment from other universities in the country.
Yeah, it is.
And as we're finding out, if these guys, to remain on the football team are having tutors doing their papers for them, and Brian Kelly, as he says, was unaware of it until a couple of weeks ago, well, that just tells me that the administration of the school is going to crack down even harder and look deeper into what's going on there. This way you're keeping the NCAA out of it. Once the NCAA gets involved, you've got big problems.
Yeah, big problems. And do you think the NCAA will get involved in this, even though a punishment is going to be rendered?
No, they won't. If these 4 players are reinstated for the first game in 2 weeks, then I think the NCAA will get involved. But it sounds to me like these 4 are going to be suspended for the season, then the case is going to be closed. The NCAA is just going to turn a blind eye to it. Because they're going to say, okay, Notre Dame took care of their business internally. Notre Dame already reported it to the NCAA. So if they suspend these 4 guys, the NCAA will say, okay, they took care of it, move on.
Mm-hmm.
But if these guys are, Russell and DeVaris Daniels and Ishaq Williams, if they're reinstated, in other words, they can play in the first game of the season against Rice, then I think the NCAA might take a deeper look into the program. Would not be a good thing.
No, it would not be a good thing.
Because the NCAA would love nothing better than to nail Notre Dame, because they've always had a thing with Notre Dame because they're the only school, well, not now, but they were the first school that had its own television network.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not share the money with the NCAA. See, the NCAA would love nothing better than to bust the Irish for any little deed.
Yeah.
But as long as Notre Dame keeps taking care of their business in-house and reports fractions to the NCAA committee, the NCAA can't do anything.
Let's look at how that 14 playoff shapes up. And this is probably one of the only times I'm going to talk about this, because it doesn't, to me, this 14 playoff screams, absolutely screams, Big 5 conference footprints all over it. They get to determine who gets in and who gets out. They didn't follow the model of Division I AA, Division II, or Division III, where you have 32 teams, and everybody gets a fair shot at getting inside a true tournament. My first question to you, Mike Green, is why did it take so long for D1 football to realize they needed a full playoff system?
Well, it's all about money. It was all about the bowl system. It was all about the BCS. The BCS created so much money through the bowls and the television networks.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them go to an 8-team playoff instead of 4, but we know that's going to be a few years down the road.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice for a change to have the national champion decided on the field instead of a computer.
Right.
Without jeopardizing the integrity of the bowls. The bowls are traditional. We all know that. The Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, you can go on and on.
Right.
But it was always about the networks and always about the tradition of the bowl games. But now you're going to have an extra bowl game, because you're going to have a 14 playoff, and they're going to have an extra bowl game for that, which will be the championship game.
You know what? My thought is, I think the way you think, they should go to 8 teams. And they should have started with 8 and then expanded from there. Because
I agree with you. The great thing about college football is every game is so important during the regular season.
Yeah, it is.
Really, one loss and you can be mathematically eliminated from national championship contention. College football has the most meaningful regular season of any sport.
It does,
But
and
it really does.
There are still people.
An 18 playoff would not jeopardize that either.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. They needed to start, I should say, with an 18 playoff, and not just a 14 playoff.
Well, you know why they didn't. They brought up, well, we got to take care of the, and I love this quote, the student athlete in December when most schools have their exam periods, which is laughable.
It is laughable because if the other divisions can set it up,
not student athletes,
they're athletes.
Exactly right, and that's why now college football players are going to get money for jersey sales now.
Yep.
I've never bought that student athlete stuff because it's all about the cash in December.
Mm-hmm. And December's the big payoff for them.
Mm-hmm.
December is the big payoff for them, and it's going to always be a big payoff for them.
What you're going to have now, Brian, is you're going to have your conference championship games the first week of December, and then after that, you're going to have 2 to 3 weeks of playoff games before the bowl games are even announced, the major bowl games.
Yep.
So that just keeps college football in the headlines for an additional 2 weeks in mid-December when, quote-unquote, these student athletes are supposed to be taking their exams.
Mm-hmm. The way Division I has this set up is so laughable. Why couldn't they just borrow from the model of Division I AA and 2 and 3 and just invite 32 teams, the best 32 teams, and they all scrap it out? You can work out the exam schedules. I mean, the teams in the lower divisions always have someone traveling with them because they're playing late into November and late into December. How come Division I hasn't figured this puzzle out?
Well, I agree. I think I don't know if they'll ever get to 32 teams in the playoff, but I think in 3 or 4 years they'll go up to 8 and it may go up to 16 down the road. But I can't see anything higher than that.
Yeah.
It'll never get to 32, but I can see 8 in a few years and maybe 16 down the road.
Would love to get up to 16 so you can have teams like the Boise State sneak in and surprise people, like the Northern Illinois sneak in and surprise some people. And considering the fact that I'm in Big Ten country, I'll go ahead and make this mention right now. Ohio State took a smack in the face, losing their starting quarterback for the year. That's part one. And part two, now the Big Ten is wide open.
It really is. That's a big talk here. Obviously, I'm based in Columbus, Ohio. They're going to go with a freshman quarterback who hasn't taken a snap.
Right.
Now, thankfully, they got a schedule where, quite frankly, it's powder puff.
It's light. It's light.
It's ridiculous. I guess they couldn't schedule the Ohio-based Christian Association to play today. But their toughest games are going to be Michigan State, Michigan.
Of course.
Maybe Virginia Tech is one of their out-of-conference games, but they went from a national title contender. They won't make it now.
No.
You cannot win with 4 new starters on your offensive line and a freshman quarterback that hasn't taken a snap. And
that's
even
the key.
Great Urban Meyer, and believe me, he'll tell you how great he is.
Mm-hmm. And he always does.
It's going to be tough.
It is. You know what it'd be?
Miller's a huge loss.
You know who could sneak in and surprise people in the Big Ten? And I always will continue to say it the way their program is run. Think purple.
Pardon me?
Think purple.
Oh, the Wildcats.
Think Wildcats.
You know what? Pat Fitzgerald's done a hell of a job with that program.
That he
No
has.
pushover. I know they faded late last year, but they could definitely make a run. They play Notre Dame this year.
I am so hoping that we go into Notre Dame and repeat what we did there in 1995.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm not hoping for that, but
why? Oh, that's right.
You know I'm a Notre Dame fan, so
okay. Then I make you. Y'all are gonna. Y'all are the first to hear this on air. I'll make you a bet. If Notre Dame beats Northwestern, I owe you a big fat pizza from Giordano's, and I'm going to get Giordano's in on the fun here too. And you're
Okay, now what happens if Northwestern beats Notre Dame?
you give me a pizza, dag nabbit.
All right, I'll give you one of Columbus's finest.
And I used to live in Seatown. You're on. You heard the bet, folks.
Yeah, what's in Columbus, I would consider Donato's.
No, what I'll do, and I'll get a couple friends on this. They play in November at Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium, so it gives me a little time. What I will do is I'll get some folks from Giordano's to help out. We'll put a Giordano's pizza on the line for the winner between Notre Dame and Northwestern. And besides, I wouldn't mind buying this man some pizza. He's helped out ASN so much it's not even funny. But that's our bet. A Giordano's pizza for the winner of the Notre Dame Northwestern game. That a bet?
That's a bet, my friend.
That's Mike Green inside the green room. We'll take a break for a couple of minutes, and then I get a full hour with Floppa Shango. I will tell y'all more when we come back. The second half of the afternoon locker room is on the way.
When your vehicle needs service, look no further than Sowers Ford, a Ford dealer like no other. Our state-of-the-art service department is fully staffed with certified technicians who can handle anything from routine maintenance to the most difficult diesel repair. Brakes, tires, and batteries. Sowers Ford service has it all. Sowers Ford, serving Michigan City and surrounding communities. Sowers Ford Lincoln, 3930 Franklin, Michigan City, 219-879-5381, or visit us at SowersFord.com.
At Strachan Van Til, we think differently about groceries. We always have. At Strachan Van Til, we think differently about groceries. We always have. So what does that mean? It means better, fresher, focused on you. Your neighborhood store that gives you more. It's quality, selection, the variety you want. Choice meats, deli, bakery, your one-stop shop. Everything on your list and all for less. With the savings you deserve and unbeatable service, that's different. That's built around you, and that's your Strachan Van Til.
Chow down with the Italian collection at Subway.
Delicioso.
Try the Mongelis's Chicken Pizzola Melt, a fresh take on Italian with tender, juicy chicken, zesterific pepperoni, and plenty of our signature recipe marinara sauce.
Perfecto.
Mamma mia!
And taste the Amore with the Meatball Pepperoni Melt, a kickin' combination of Italian-style meatballs and pepperoni on your favorite freshly baked bread.
Only at Subway.
And only for a limited time.
Don't miss out.
Subway. Eat fresh.
I represent the Excelsior Appliance and Appurtenance Company, Incorporated, with a complete line of household appliances and Is the lady of the house in? What?
Testing. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. You're listening to the Afternoon Locker Room on the Arena Sports Network. Is this thing on?
For us to have a late takeoff on the Afternoon Locker Room as we come to you live from Three Oaks, Michigan, here at our good friends at WRHC at their studios. You know, I think we had a good start. Thank you, Joshua Jackson, for joining me. Thank you, Mike Green, as we went inside the green room to talk some college football. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the hour you have been waiting for, and I have been waiting for this week. We're going to talk some NBA as Floppa Shango joins me from New York, and this segment is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings of Round Lake. And Trisha Andrew, a.k.a. Floppa Shango, is on the line with me. Good afternoon, my dear. Or is she? Oh, don't tell me. Wait a minute. What? I did something wrong. Hold on. I did something wrong, and I hope I have her now. Trisha, can you hear me?
You betcha. I can hear you loud and clear.
It was something on my end. Like I said, the hour y'all been waiting for. It's presented by Buffalo Wild Wings of Round Lake. Okay. I'm going to start. Yeah, this time I'm going to beat her to the punch. I'm going to start with a statement in 2-Minute Warning, a popular group on Facebook that I love being a part of. The question that was the statement that came from James Harden.
Tell him.
He said that he is the best player alive. And everybody, including myself, took a step back at that statement. But then old Flopashango decided to throw, she didn't throw a curveball, she threw me a forkball. When she thought, there's no way he could beat LeBron James one-on-one. Wait a minute, or can he? And she left that question in the group. I haven't seen the carnage yet.
Oh, please. I'm still battling right now.
You're still...
Right now, I'm in the bunker. I'm in the bunker by myself right now.
You're in the bunker?
But I got the ammo.
What have they
keep
said?
Tossing a little grenade out and going back in.
You just hit and run, right?
Hit and run.
It's what did Jim Durham said it best? What is basketball's most basic play? Pick and roll.
Most definitely.
Now, what's the carnage so far after you posed that question?
Okay.
Oh, no.
Here's what the wall is trying to say. They're saying that there's no way. Obviously, I'm in the minority right now. They're talking about the body weight difference, which, I mean, LeBron is right now the Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen of basketball right now.
Yeah.
He's losing weight, but we'll go back to that later.
Well, yeah, we'll hit that a little later in the hour.
So they're talking about the weight, and they're bringing up James Harden's lack of defense. All of which are valid statements.
But
and so you're saying, okay, with that being said, like how can I still find a case for James Harden?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's very hard for me to do so. I'm going to let you know that up front because I have a problem with James Harden because of how he left my team. OKC. But I'm still the bigger person right now.
You're still hurting on. You're still hurting on that one.
I'm trying to find a way beyond my hate to find the reasoning behind it. And I said, okay, if the best player in the world right now, quote unquote, by the media, is LeBron James. So how could he say, well, I'm the best player alive? And I thought about it. I was like, okay, let's see LeBron and James Harden play one-on-one. Who would win? Everybody automatically says LeBron, but let's if you look at
I don't say that.
Level.
I don't say that.
Well, me and you kind of agree on the things that people fail to see right now. So I'm going to enlighten them on what's going on here. Why I could see how James Harden can edge out LeBron.
People don't want to hear that. People don't want to hear that.
I have to because sometimes you know my job in this life I've been given is to educate.
Yes.
Right? And to help.
Yes.
Right? And I'm trying to help people see the light. That was the gift that I was given by the Almighty.
Yes.
To enlighten the basketball fans as to what they are missing. Can I get an amen?
Amen here. I do the same when people bring Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys at me, okay?
Gotta educate them. So here's the education, okay? People, I know LeBron said he's improved his shooting, but let's be
No, he hasn't.
Let's be serious, right? LeBron versus James Harden shooting, who would win?
James Harden in a heartbeat.
Okay? All right, cool. So that's step one. You got to lead the horse, right?
Yep.
Step one, James Harden is a better shooter than LeBron James.
All right, let me throw this figure out there for people that love to try to throw numbers at my friends call me the professor of basketball stats. Let me throw this number out there between James Harden and LeBron James. In the last 6 times these two players have met, James Harden has shot 52% from the floor. LeBron James has shot 44.
Ooh. The numbers don't lie. At least some of the time. But the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
Unless you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, then they lie all the time.
Yes. But, all right, that's step one.
Yes.
Step two, like, what is one-on-one? One-on-one is ISO, pretty much ISO ball.
It's Kobe Bryant 101, okay?
Yes. So if you're ISO, right, think about the best ISO players in the league. LeBron is not one of them.
No.
You're not catching LeBron on the ISO, right?
LeBron's too chicken to go on the ISO.
He doesn't have a good enough handle to be on the ISO. Let's be honest.
Let's be real, okay? Trisha, it goes like this, and I've said this for as long as LeBron has been in the league, and people have argued me down until they saw it themselves, and it was proven in the finals. LeBron cannot do ISO, not just because of a lack of handles, a lack of courage. Period.
Courage. Like the line from The Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Yes.
He's not as bad as Thabo Cephalosha when he gets the ball, but he is definitely not one of the top-tier dribblers in this league. So, again, we're talking about ISO. If he's not the better shooter, he's not the better one with the handle.
No.
All right? I think that James Harden might have a chance. The only thing that James Harden...
And who did James Harden play with to start his career? Oh, yeah, a point guard by the name of, and you know him well, Russell Westbrook.
Yes. Not only that, but he was sort of like the point guard off the bench for the team. He could handle and shoot. So he was like a combo for them as well, coming off the bench. That is not LeBron James. He's a bully on the court. He's barreling down on you on transition a lot of the time. So here's the thing: 101 is not transition. So one of his strengths is gone, right? He can't dribble, he can't shoot, right? He can definitely try to post him up, but LeBron James is not a post player. In fact, I think somebody pulled the numbers earlier this year and said like in the his points in the post was like maybe under like 20% or something like that. So he's not a post player. So when it comes down to it, I think I've found the way that James Harden could actually be better than LeBron James.
And you broke it down in the most basic form.
It's basic. It's so basic, Brian. But you see, the problem is people get lost with the smoke screen. Okay?
Called the LeBron James hype train.
The hype bandwagon. That's all that is.
And I'll put it in 4 letters, and I'm not afraid to put this out there. I'll put the LeBron James hype bandwagon in 4 letters. Their letters are ESPN, period.
That's his number 1 fan, ESPN. And you know what? I can't blame them from a business perspective, all right? Because we're each and every one of us are businesses. We take advantage of it, right? So this applies to everyone. Like, the ESPN is a business that's taking advantage of the fact that a lot of people, even casual fans, gravitate towards LeBron. So that's more eyes. So they're going to give us the audience what they're seeking. A lot of them are just looking for the hype. LeBron is this. But they're not looking at what you're actually seeing.
Not looking at the substance.
Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
If I may. So, what position do you think LeBron will be playing this year?
The bench.
I didn't say what position you wish. I said, what...
I finally got it, folks. It took me 4 weeks, but I finally got it. Okay, let me answer the question seriously. What position do I see LeBron James playing? let the professor give you a little education. First of all, it's Cleveland.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Second of all, Kyrie Irving is handling the ball, okay? Unless this coach from another land gets it in his head that LeBron James can handle the ball, and he turns the ball over an average of 7 times a night. You want to frighten LeBron James and scare him straight? Put him at the 4. And I have 2 very selfish reasons for that answer.
Why?
I want Kevin Garnett to beat him up, and I want Joakim Noah to beat him up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put it this way: the 2 players that you name don't really actually need the basketball court to want to beat someone up. So let's
I'm trying to make it in an illegal form, okay?
Let's pull it back a little bit. They won't.
Because Garnett will take LeBron outside the Barclays Center and whoop his ass. You know that.
Kevin Garnett is very well experienced in having to fight after a game. And I'll just say one word: Cheerios. But let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Okay, we know already. At least I'm guessing. I'm not sure that maybe the 4 might be out of the question because of Kevin Love. So with that being said,
no. Kevin Love will wind up playing the 5.
Kevin Love will be playing the 5.
And I have a good reason for the argument.
Okay, I want to hear this. Let me sit. Hold on.
In 4 words, look at the coach.
Well, let's see.
That was the argument you gave me when this first came down.
I mean, this one is hard because I don't know if Kevin Love can do that. Like, I don't see Kevin Love as like going hard in the paint every game. He's a 3-point shooter, so unless you're thinking he's going to be a stretch 5.
This is why I said he will play the 5. He's in the East now. He's not in the West. He can't freelance anymore.
Okay, I personally have 2 things that I think is a possibility.
All right.
I've heard in the group in 2-Minute Warning that it's a possibility that LeBron has lost all that weight because he wants to move into the 2 position, the shooting guard.
Are you bleeping serious?
Yes. And when I think about it, it could make sense, and I'll come back to it.
Okay.
And then the next option would possibly keeping him at his position as a 3, but there might be some conflict about that. So let's toy with a 2, for instance.
Okay.
Now, if LeBron decides to play,
but the problem is he's tried being the 2 for 10 years.
That may be true, partially.
Partially? Timeout. D says, hold the phone. Stop. Personal foul. Partially?
Partially because there's always been something impeding that the last 4 years.
Yeah, lack of a heart would help.
Well, I mean, no, not necessarily. I mean, by function, by what's on the court, Wade has been in that way. So if Wade's on the court, he can't necessarily play that because Wade is definitely the 2. But that is the rumor in the group. The 2 position is what he may move into. And I thought about it, Brian. I said, I believe personally he can play it, but he won't stay in that position. I believe that there are 2 things that could help him, or that could be possibly possessing his mind to make him believe he can do it.
Yeah, jump shot.
And that's the fact that I believe that the two position, the shooting guard, is extinct. I don't believe that there are any good twos left in this league besides Kobe, who's on his way out, and James Harden, who is clearly a little bit delirious. But right? Well, that's all that's left.
Okay, can we throw in the position of a two guard? Can we throw Manu Ginobili in the equation?
You know, I have a special dark spot in my heart for the Spurs that I'll explain on other shows. But yeah, you could throw Manu in there. But again, I believe Manu is right there on the tails.
I'm really gonna make her laugh, or I'm gonna make her angry with the next suggestion at the two guard. And I will make this preface, folks. I'm just having fun with this because we're talking about where LeBron James will fit in the Cleveland offense, if you want to call it that. But we're talking about shooting guards being extinct. You don't throw Stephen Curry in that equation?
That's a hard one. Oh no.
Stephen's like a combo guard.
He's a combo.
Honestly.
He's like a 1-2. You know, he's like a 1-2. So
okay, then see, she's just throwing all kinds of ideas at me, and this is how much fun we have during the hour. I have to remind you of something that you said in an earlier episode. We're talking parts that are interchangeable. She threw two names at me: Chris Bosh and Channing Frye.
Yeah, I still believe it. Still believe it.
I believe it too, because what has Chris Bosh done?
I'm waiting to, you know how they have those memes with Michael Jackson and popcorn? Like,
yes.
I'm sitting there with my popcorn, waiting to see what becomes of the Heat. And is it Bosch's team? Whose team is it? Is it Bosch or Wade?
I don't think either one of them won it. And I will tell you why. And this is why. This is why I believe neither one of them won it. That was Dwayne Wade's team for 10 years. And then some guy named LeBron shows up, wrecks his house. He brings them 2 championships, but wrecks his... Well, hell, let's call it for what it's worth, okay? He was handed 2 titles, okay? Let's call it for what it... Come on, folks. Let's call it for what it's worth, okay? He was handed 2 championships. Because you're not going to tell me in 2012 that your beloved Thunder put a foot in their ass in Game 1 and couldn't recover for 4 straight games? Come on, I'm not buying that.
I know what you're leading to. I know what you know what you.
Let me back up a series. Let me back up a year and a series. 2011. And this began my argument. Now, I got nothing against the Bulls or the Heat or what the series that they played. This began my argument. In 2011, the Bulls put a foot in Miami's ass in Game 1 by 21 points. A 7-point lead at the end of the first quarter of Game 2, and then the bottom falls out? Somebody's nose was in the pot.
I mean, I'm not a speculator, all right? I'm not a speculator, a controversy, a controversy cooker.
I'm not saying controversy. I'm just saying the flat-out doggone process.
So, I mean, yes, he's, I think,
He was handed 2 titles. You can say it.
I mean, I feel like the first one was
He was handed 2 titles.
The second one was
The second one is tainted.
And what Popovich was doing, but they messed up because we could have stopped it at 1. But I blame the other one on Pop and Tim Duncan. So
hey, Pop got it. Listen, you can take Pop out of the. Listen, you can take a hand out of the. You can take Pop out of the equation because Pop got even. And smacked him around. Oh, it was so glorious, wasn't it?
You see, here's the thing. You remember earlier in the show when I said I have a dark spot for
yes.
Spurs? That series is the one single time in my entire life ever, and I'm talking about backwards and forwards, that I ever wanted the Heat to win. I would rather a three-peat than having the Spurs win a championship.
Okay, then you're going to hate my next statement right now.
I mean, I hate it before it came out your mouth. Yes, I do.
The most glorious thing was seeing Miami get destroyed.
I mean, okay, so that's the bittersweet part. Because as I was sad that the Spurs won the championship, I was laughing on the inside that this was happening. So, like, I was torn. I was conflicted.
I wasn't.
Yet I would have rather seen the three-peat than Tim Duncan win the champion.
No. And my final word, no.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry that you didn't get to see the three-peat because Tim Duncan and Pop got angry.
Well, you know how in the show you were talking about conspiracies and things being handed to people?
Yes.
Let's look at the Spurs for a second.
No, the Spurs didn't get handed anything. They took it.
Yes and no. Here's the conflict, friend. You see, people forget that the only reason why they got that far is because Serge Ibaka was injured from the Thunder.
Here we go.
So they were given the opportunity. Handed the opportunity.
I hate to inform you of this, but you work around injuries, okay? If anybody could have worked if anybody could have worked around an injury, it would have been Oklahoma City.
No. Now I'm hot. Because people misunderstand how that team is set up. You know how they say how my bank account is set up. I'd be like, so you know how my team is set up right now.
Yes.
No, that's not how it works. Because
why not?
Statistically, they've shown that Serge Ibaka is the difference maker every time they play the Spurs. He is that key, and he so happened to have gotten injured, and it was a legit injury.
Okay, then why are you making this argument in the first place?
No, I'm just letting you know why they got an opportunity to get that ring. And we're talking about handed. The fact that we couldn't even bring Serge back until later, and he came back early. I mean, he played through the pain. But if we want to talk about handed, that was an opportunity that gave them the ring. Okay?
No. Let me dispel your argument right now. Okay.
Can I make one more point?
Go ahead.
I feel like people forget about
Russell Westbrook.
What do we call it? Air conditioner gate? Heat gate? Whatever that it was. Okay.
Oh, you mean the incident at AT&T Center where LeBron got cramps?
Let me tell you something, Brian.
Yes.
Because this part is the part that gets me hot, pun intended. Okay? This, and I know we're reflecting right now, but it's necessary.
All right.
This thing happened in San Antonio, okay?
Yes.
I told you this before. In this order, the importance of of something in someone that lives in San Antonio's life.
Mm-hmm.
It's air conditioning, then God. Okay, in that order, one order. They love them some air conditioning. Okay, because it's hot as heck down there. So you're trying to tell me You trying to tell me they had no backup air? They didn't have something just in case something broke? They got fans in the stands fanning themselves in the air conditioning capital of the country?
And the Spurs still put a foot in that ass.
'Cause they used to it. Let me tell you something. I'm going to drop another conspiracy on you. Remember that one single game that they had planned in Mexico?
Yes.
That got canceled
yes.
against Minnesota?
Uh-huh.
It was against who? The Spurs. What happened? There's a fire in the arena. How come all of these arena problems follow the Spurs? Tell me what. Let's bring up conspiracy.
Okay.
Time
Let me dispel your conspiracy, my dear.
Dispel it.
Let me dispel your conspiracy. You're talking about arena problems, and I will especially go back to AC Gate, as you call it. You know we're having fun here, folks. Flopashango, it's the Flopashango Hour presented by Buffalo Wild Wings of Round Lake, talking NBA basketball. Let me dispel AC Gate for you right now.
Okay.
The year was 1984. The teams that were playing were the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics.
Yes.
They had an AC Gate in the Boston Garden.
I remember the footage on that because
I rest my case.
But here's the difference.
No.
We're talking about 20 years. 20 years difference. They got cryogenic refrigerators in the locker room right now.
Okay, so how the hell did cryogenic refrigerators get into an NBA conversation?
Because somebody passed me some video. I was
okay.
Like, oh, how they recover.
Right.
They stand in refrigerators that go to like negative 82 degrees for like 2 minutes just to cool off their bodies. I'm sure they didn't have that in 1984. They just did a regular bath, ice bath.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah, that was real basketball. That's how you come back from that.
Ice bucket challenge.
Which I did yesterday.
Reminded me. So we talk about two different times of AC. All right. But
it's an AC that's at the center of the problem. And if the Celtics and the Lakers can play through it, and if the San Antonio Spurs can play through it, and if portions of the Miami Heat, remember the name, can play through it, why couldn't King James?
Because everybody know everybody know that
he's
when he plays in an arena, the feng shui of the air in the arena has to be perfect. Because if the feng shui of the arena isn't perfect, then he's going to be off, and they know this. All right.
Okay.
This is me trying to defend LeBron James, but so I'm gonna say they messed with the feng shui of King James by trying to turn down the heat and break
LeBron James messed with the feng shui of King James by not developing a jump shot.
And not drinking water.
Exactly.
I'm right about that. In King James' defense, he did say he drank like a lot of water the night before, but
no, he didn't. That water was gone by the morning. Take it from someone who's over 6 feet tall and is getting his weight in shape and getting back into working out myself. I got news for you. You may have drank a lot of water the night before, but the day of, that water's gone. Because you're working it out, and you're working it out, and you're sweating it out. Okay? I did some weightlifting today, and I was sweating bullets, and I drank a gallon of water.
Oh, wow.
I was following my doctor's orders, okay? I got back in the weights. I've been drinking a lot of water, as he's told me to. Okay? He told me to drink a lot of water. But you see, when you drink a lot of water and you move, you sweat a lot. And LeBron James didn't drink that Gatorade.
LeBron hasn't played that in that much heat since he was probably like 15.
And he played in Miami.
He's not playing outside.
And he played in Miami.
Okay, fine. If you want me to say it's all his fault, go ahead. I'm tired. I can't defend him anymore. But
why were you defending him in the first place?
Because that's how much I dislike the San Antonio Spurs. I would bring myself that low to support LeBron James if I don't have to support San Antonio, and that is the truth.
So you would stoop so low as to defend the one person who does not need to be defended?
I'd go limbo low.
Limbo
low
to defend AC Gate because in your hardened heart of hearts you just don't like Spurs.
Don't like them. Don't want nothing to do with them.
Then let me clear a couple of things up right now. Okay. First of all, LeBron didn't drink a drop throughout the entire game except on timeouts, and the cups were shorter than my hair.
Shot glass.
Yes. Okay. How is that going to this is a bad word. Stimulate a 6'8", 260-pound man who needs. Oh boy. I'm trying not to say it without. I'm trying not to say it without laughing. Who needs water and fluid going throughout his body? Take it from somebody who's there, okay? And you're going to defend him, as my friend Victor put it best, Mr. Chicken Wing Jump Shot himself, who has only in playoff time made one shot that counts in the playoffs, and it just happened to be in a forced Game 7 a year ago, and he hasn't done a doggone thing since. Let me tell you something, my dear. Joakim Noah gets in his head, and the Bulls didn't get out of the first round. Kawhi Leonard spooked the daylights out of him.
Yeah.
Gatorade or no Gatorade?
Look, I'll give you the Kawhi Leonard thing, although I will just say that the Spurs couldn't have won it without Boris Diaw, but that's another conversation.
I'll give you that. Boris Diaw made a hell of a difference. It was the one-on-one with Kawhi Leonard against LeBron James that took the king down.
And AC Gate.
No.
It's a plot conspiracy.
The what conspiracy?
It's a plot and a conspiracy. It's all the Spurs.
Okay. You hate the Spurs that much that you would develop a conspiracy against the most efficient team in the NBA in the past 20 years?
I'm not developing. It's true.
No, it's not.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna watch them coming up through the season because
listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, okay? And we're having fun with AC Gate, folks, here on the Flopper Shango Hour inside the afternoon locker room. My buddies Josh Lopez checking in with us. You know LeBron paid the refs. You want a conspiracy? There you go.
What?
Okay, I'm going to read you a couple of comments here that says the following. And you defended this man, so shame on you. LeBron is the most overrated player of all time because he gets help from the refs and he pays them under the table. He's kidding around with the second half of the comment, but I'm inclined to agree that LeBron is overrated. LeBron is overrated like the city. Listen. LeBron is overrated like the city of Cleveland.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's get back to this.
You told me. Listen, I understand you telling me not to, but it's fun.
No, it's not fun.
Why not?
It's not fun. I'm going to defend Cleveland.
Why?
For a second.
What
they're
the?
on the up and up.
No, they're not.
Just went through some...
No, they're not.
They just...
Apparently, you don't remember May 7th, 1989. The day that Cleveland, what's the word I'm looking for? Died.
Oh, let me sit back down.
If we were in folks, if we were in the same studio and there was a camera rolling, it'd be a comedy show for the next 2 hours, okay?
Here we go.
Okay, listen. Cleveland was an up-and-coming team when they had Brad Daugherty, when they had Craig Elo, when they had Mark Price, when they had Larry Nance, whom I've had a chance to meet, and his daughter, who played at is it Dayton? Yeah, University of Dayton. And then Michael Jordan showed up on May 7th of '89 and changed the course of the city of Cleveland forever. Forever.
You know, you should not condemn someone. I mean, you gotta.
Have you seen the Cleveland Browns lately?
I mean, okay. So they're going through something right now. They have to decide who their starting
QB which should tell you how the year is going to go in Cleveland.
I mean, they got one guy, Hoyer, who's been there a while, but he's a little bit. They're not used to that much attention because of Johnny.
I did this.
And then they got this guy Johnny, who was sticking the middle finger up in the game.
Oh, you saw that too?
I mean, the world saw that. I don't. I don't know.
Okay, listen. Let me put it to you this way. Okay, it's Cleveland.
I'm telling you, you're going to eat your words this year.
You know what?
Eat your words this year.
You know what? I'm going to be eating a pizza with him, okay?
No, you won't be eating a pizza, and I'll get back to
my buddy Ronald Murchison, who is who's in the chat room with us on Spreaker. You know what? This whole Johnny Manziel thing in Cleveland, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Does the name Tim Tebow come to mind?
Okay, so yes, it does.
I rest my case.
And
it's Cleveland.
Yes, it's Cleveland. I understand the whole Tim Tebow similarity with the cameras and the double quarterback issue and how they played them last night. They put in put him in Menzel for like a few plays and Hoyer, and it's a little bit of fiasco right now.
The whole doggone city is a fiasco. Hello.
Yes, but if you think about it, let's, and we're gonna bring this a little bit back to basketball.
I took care of that argument. Michael Jordan took care of Cleveland basketball in 1989.
You have to listen to this, though. The whole Miami Heat bench now plays for Cleveland. Remember who they signed. They're not just getting Kevin Love on some sideways around the table like wait till August 23rd deal, right? They have Kevin Love. They have Mike Miller. They got Ray Allen. They just got Sean Marion. They got LeBron James. They got Kyrie Irving. They trying to win a ring now. So if you want to talk about 1989, you can. But right now, they're trying to make a move to make LeBron James' name etched in history forever.
It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Okay. So Brian, let's see. When we're gonna check in with this, and I'm gonna make sure I save this show because I'm
already saving it.
I'm gonna scratch, remix it. I'm gonna put some music to it, and play this back.
And all of this is not necessary.
When we look at Cleveland's record, we're going to play this back and be like, I thought you said, but I thought you said.
When we play this back, I'm going to be laughing my tail off still.
Okay, we'll see. But let's.
Why do you believe in Cleveland so much right now?
I don't believe in them, okay?
Then why the hell are you talking about them so what's the word I'm looking for? Effervescently.
No, here's the thing, all right? And this is the difference between how I look at basketball and how most do. I can pull myself out of fandom, right? I could pull myself out and
apparently not when talking about the Spurs and your hatred for them.
Oh, well, everyone has to talk, but that's on the Western Conference. I'll admit that the Spurs are a decent team, but I'm not.
They're the defending world champions.
Look here, don't push me, Brian. Don't push me. So, like, I could come out and say that.
Do you know how? Okay, Ray Allen. Let's look at this. Ray Allen, Mike Miller, Sean Marion. I hate to. Do you know how old they are?
I know that, but they're good. They're good to come off the bench. Like, they can give you points
if they get in the game.
Right now, they don't got that. And
okay,
I think they still have Anderson Varejao too, who's good for 10 and 10 at least.
If his knees hold up.
I mean, yeah. Like, Varejao is definitely, or...
Yeah, Varejao spelled with a W at the end of it, because that's all he's saying after he sits down. Ow!
Ow. But, legit, they have a solid squad.
Okay, can I just... I'm going to mess with you one final time, or one of the final times during this hour. I know I'm going to get hit for this, but just know I mean this very playfully. To borrow a statement from you, Anderson Varejao is just Chris Bosh, who is just Channing Frye.
Look.
Yes.
Look. Anderson Varejao is a solid. Better yet, he's sort of like Joakim Noah without the anger, He's good for 10 and 10.
And Joakim Noah is the defensive player of the year and has gone around Anderson Varejao several times.
I know, but we're going to have to do another episode strictly on Joakim Noah because I know he's from my area.
Oh, I'm going to have so much fun. When we do talk about Joakim Noah, I'm going to have so much fun with that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Anderson Varejao and Joakim Noah. Let me throw this out there as a teaser right now for a later episode with Flampashango and I. Anderson Varejao, Joakim Noah. Anderson Varejao has hair. Joakim Noah has hair.
Look, I'm gonna.
Okay. Let me throw this out there. Anderson Varejao's in Cleveland.
Okay. All right. So, watch. You saw how I could put together a case for James Harden and LeBron James?
The only reason you put together a case for LeBron James and you admitted it yourself, you had nowhere else to go because he got his ass kicked by the Spurs in the finals.
Look. If I had more than an hour, I would have laid it down Law and Order style. But
you wanted to? You want to do a 2-hour podcast one day? You want to do a 2-hour podcast one day?
We can do it.
Okay.
Law and Order style, and I'm gonna bring all the facts.
You listen. You know what I'm gonna do, folks? When we do this 2-hour, I'm totally joking as I say this. When we do this 2-hour podcast, I'm just gonna make my one statement, back it up with 2 lines of facts, and I'm gonna walk away.
Look, when we do this 2-hour podcast, you better bring your water just in case somebody in the studio try to set you up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Honey, listen. So I got my water. I got my bear. I got a few other things.
Make sure the air conditioning working because.
Oh, my air conditioning is working. I can't say the same for LeBron James.
But
make sure your air conditioning's working.
I'm I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. Trust
Are you gonna have to step back when you make it?
I live for this.
Are you gonna have to step back like you did in that one video I saw where people kept attacking? Now notice, I have not attacked nor will I attack Russell Westbrook. I won't.
Because you want to survive the day. Because I would take it.
You can't even say it without laughing. You can't even say it without laughing. We're having total fun while doing this, folks, so hang tight with us. Trisha Flopachanko, Andrew on the line with me. We're talking NBA basketball here inside the afternoon locker room and having a great time doing it. So if y'all want to join in when Trish and I start our NBA show this coming season, I think we're going to start it in October, please join the conversation with us. Let's just make this a whole lot of fun for everybody. Now, I'm just going back to you defending LeBron James, the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest, the limbo low things you can do. Because at a level even lower than that, according to you, is the San Antonio Spurs.
Deep down, lower than that. They in the ground with the roots.
Apparently, they're up in the sky with 5 world titles.
I don't care. I know what's happening. I know what's happening.
You know what's happening, okay?
I know what's happening, and I'm going to save it. When the season come around, I'm like, is this your same team? This your same team? This is the same team you trying to? All right, cool.
Y'all know I'm going to laugh when she says this, right?
Yeah, laugh all you want, but I'm telling you legit, all right? Spurs, no, not for me. No, I don't care.
Is it because is it
because of what?
Is it purely because of your hatred?
I mean, we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just touch on it, and so we could move on. But you know how I feel about Tim Duncan. Okay, that
a Hall of Famer.
The crux of what bothers me about the Spurs. So we're gonna leave it at that. People, I'm gonna let
just a moment. I'm allowed to respond.
Go ahead.
Tim Duncan, she says, is the crux of her hatred for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes.
He's been there 17 years. It's the only team that he's played with.
That don't matter.
The team that he's going to retire with.
Okay.
Once upon a time at his side was one of my favorite players of all time, one of the 50 greatest, the Admiral, David Robinson. They've gone from the Hemisphere to the Alamo Dome to the AT&T Center with the broken air conditioner. And they're sitting next to a river, so they can go cool off anytime on the Riverwalk. And they're 5-time world champions. Oh, you know what? You want to talk about an opportunity handed to San Antonio? Let me take you back to Memorial Day 1999. Okay? You want to talk? If you're such a Spurs hater, and I know you joke around with this, and I'm joking around too. If you're such a Spurs hater, why don't you hate Sean Elliott?
The man came back with 1.5 kidneys. All right, right? I can't hate on that.
The Memorial Day miracle.
I can't hate on that.
Then why are you hating on Tim Duncan?
Because he's not Sean Elliott. I can't. Why do I have to love him? Because
you have to love him because
it's not a package deal.
Yes, it is.
It's not a package deal.
Yes, it is.
No.
If it's that way in Cleveland, it's that way in San Antonio.
No. It's not a package deal.
Yes, it is.
I could take Sean Elliott, but you're not going to make me take Tim Duncan.
You already did.
Man down my throat.
You already did. Don't you realize you already did?
No. And
you can't.
The man had to come back with with a kidney after kidney surgery to help this man Tim Duncan win. Everybody gotta come back and help him win. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that. Because
just a minute. Just a minute. Why aren't you mad at Mario Ellie?
I mean,
why aren't you mad at Bruce Bowen?
Look, I can't be okay. Don't. Bruce Bowen is another one. I could go on. Bruce Bowen. He made. I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay.
Mario Ellie, I can't because I feel like he's on part of the Thunder coaching.
All right. You want another one? You want another one? Here's another one in the package deal for you. Why aren't you mad at one Avery Johnson?
I mean, the man is so inspirational all the time. He talk like this. I gotta believe in him because when he talk, I just believe. So I can't hate Avery. You know, we did him dirty in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Gee, you think? Avery christened the Barclays Center, which is an arena I do plan to come visit this year. So you and I will do a live show from there when I'm in town.
Okay.
But y'all did Avery Johnson dirty.
You know, look, I'm not happy about that. Okay, I'm gonna speak. I gotta check through my window because you know. Talk about the Nets, so that's a mafia in itself. So, you know.
As Stephen A. Smith said in a rant about the Nets before they settled in Brooklyn, I'll never forget this rant when he said, and I'm doing my best Stephen A. Smith voice, and my throat is gone right now. They're not trying to come here to fit in. They're coming to take over.
Yep. I don't know, man. The whole Avery thing, Averygate. I'll make everything a gate. Averygate.
Averygate. She said Averygate.
Trying to figure that one out, but let me do some research and find out because I thought he should have at least gotten a coaching job sometime this season. We had so many openings, but we'll see what he's doing. I'm gonna try to find out. But I know we got like 5 minutes left in the show, and I wanted to.
Okay, here's another one. You want another one? Here we go. Why aren't you mad at one Robert Horry?
I mean, I can't be mad at Robert Horry because you know, although he's been retired for some time, there's still some chance that he might suit up, and for any team he play for, he might win a ring. So
Big
I'm
shot
thinking,
Bob.
like, if we got a spot on the Thunder that, like, if we just roll him out there, he might shoot some threes.
You gonna get so mad at me for saying this, but I think he'll wind up in Texas before he winds up in Oklahoma.
No. Wait, which one is the Texas team though?
Huh?
Which one of them?
Not the one in blue. Not the one in red.
No. Well.
No.
Okay, here's the thing. I can still love Robert Horry, but that's not going to make me love Tim Duncan.
Why do you hate Tim Duncan so much? Why? This is how we'll close out. Why do you hate Tim Duncan so much?
I told you this in another episode.
Tell me again, please.
It's just like how everybody just loves LeBron but don't see what's actually happening on the court. You know when they say Mr. Fundamentals?
Yeah.
What that really means is just like he do what the coach tell him to, but he's not naturally.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Not.
Yes, he is.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
The same game his whole career.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the same game for 20 years and then got him 5 titles.
Don't never say a legend and
because Tim Duncan is a legend.
In your mind, I'm just saying.
In a lot of people's mind.
He is a legend, but
okay, and you even admitted it. Okay, then. So what's the doggone argument?
He's a legend because we've made him that way, but I still think
Because Tim Duncan took care of business.
That's the very basic point. I think Karl Malone is better, but he'll never get as much respect as Tim Duncan because the conversation is Tim Duncan has 5 rings. Well, let me tell you something. If you put Tim Duncan on the Utah Jazz, he's not winning them 5 rings.
That's why Tim Duncan's in San Antonio, because he beat him twice in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. It's about your ecosystem, the team you play on.
Oh, here we go with the ecosystem again.
If you put
okay, you want to talk ecos? You want to talk?
He wouldn't have no rings.
Yes, he would.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
That's another argument. But let me. I want to get this in before it ends because we talked about air conditioning and sweating.
Are you sweating right now?
No, I'm heated right now. But
why are you heated? You've been laughing all hour. Why are you heated?
Say Tim Duncan, I could go on for hours. There's problems with this whole thing.
And yet he is the most fundamentally sound player in the NBA. Period.
Okay, I'll leave that at that. But before we end, I want to make sure to get this in because it's something that I'm doing through the 2-minute warning.
Okay.
You guys can go to 2MWsports.com if you want to check it out. But starting September 2nd.
All right.
Okay? Remember when I said LeBron James is the Mary Kate or Ashley Olsen of the NBA?
Yes.
Well, a set of us are going to be going on the NBA diet for 2 months. So for 2 months, 2MW instead of 2-minute warning is going to stand for 2-month weight loss. We are going to go on this so-called paleo diet that these NBA stars say they're on and see if we can lose weight just like them in the next 2 months to legit say, all right, yeah, they're on this diet. So let me tell you something, Brian.
Yes.
And I'm going to make clear as day on your show.
Yes.
And on video.
Okay.
After 2 months of this diet, I'm not going to cheat. I don't have a cheat day or nothing like that. I'm doing straight up. 2 months.
Knowing she's got a cheat day lined up already.
No, I don't have no cheat days.
Okay.
I'm a legit, because I need to make this real. If after 2 months of this diet that LeBron is so-called on, I don't look like a crackhead skinny. If I'm not crackhead skinny in 2 months, you best believe there's going to be an angry video. Because if he can look like a bobblehead,
he looks like a bobblehead.
6 weeks, I got a big enough head to do the same thing.
No.
So if it doesn't happen after 2 months, then we're gonna have another controversial.
We're gonna have to have a fight. Is what we're gonna have to have.
I have to have something because that's what I'm planning for the 2 months. So we're gonna turn on the clock September. Brian, I'll put you on this too. Me and you gonna do this. We both gonna do it. And at the 2 months, we're not a pair of crackheads on a show. There's gonna be a problem. There's gonna be a problem.
If that's the case, I'm gonna frighten the daylights out of a lot of people.
I'm saying they say it works, Brian. They say it works. So me and you are gonna go on this, and I'm gonna be your buddy. I'm gonna make sure to keep you in check, and you gotta keep me in check, and make sure we don't cheat on this diet for 2 months.
So I can only drink. So I can only drink 2 gallons of water a day instead of 4.
Don't even play with that. Don't, because he caught the cramps because of your favorite team, the Spurs, setting it up. But that's another case. We look like crackheads, and we're gonna
I can't help the fact that the Spurs are good and you don't see it yet.
So, let's take the challenge. We're gonna do that, and then see if this diet really works. So it's called the NBA diet. It's going to change when the season starts, so you guys listen up as the weeks go by, because in my household we do something interesting where we do an exercise during the games to as a reflection of what's happening with our team, so that we're not stationary. And
so for you, would that be jump shots?
Actually, what we do in our house is that on missed free throws, there's 10 push-ups. On missed jump shots, there's 5 push-ups. Or 10 push-ups on a missed free throw and 5 squats on missed jump shots.
Squat!
It depends on what we pick for the game. But we legit do it, and it's hard. Like, the first half is hard. By the second half, you're dying. But, like, it's called the NBA diet, and we use games for exercise, and we're going to be on the same diet these players.
You know what I might do? I might do that for football also. I'll figure out some kind. Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. She's going to let me know when she's coming on, and she'll be on next week. Oh, boy. Thank you, honey. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. We'll fight next week.
We'll fight next week. We fight every. We'll fight. We fight every week, and that's the beauty of all this. This is how much fun we have. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
And by the way, Tim Duncan's still the best fundamental player. And I gotta get out of here.
Oh my God.
Goodbye, everybody. Take care. Sports Drive will come your way in less than an hour from now on WRHC, RadioHarborCountry.com. Thanks to all my guests. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. God bless.